All right. And just like that, we're back with another CNC Q A Podcast. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope y'all are doing well. And let me go ahead and bring the gang in here. I say gang, it's only Ryan and Paul. Hope you enjoyed Ryan's air guitar earlier. He was going pretty good, so I tried to slip him in there.
Now I'm a keyboard warrior.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, what's new with you, buddy? You got any big news to tell us tonight?
I am getting ready for production of the Ranger CNC. So today I spent a lot of time out in my shop because right now the machine's in my basement and it needs to get out to the shop. So was out there maneuvering some stuff and starting to get it all situated where it's going to go. She's just about ready to go. I should be turning her on this weekend. So that's pretty awesome.
That's exciting.
I think so.
Can't wait to see it moving around.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Now, you're just going to use your forklift to move it from the basement down to your shop? Is that
no? No brakes. No brakes. No, I got to put it on dollies to get it out the back door, and then I got to put it on my little trailer and then drive it around to the front of the house where there's driveway, and then get it down there to the shop. So
okay, all right.
It'll be a little bit of a production.
You're going to be documenting that as well with video.
I might need to because something stupid will happen.
I think it'd be wise to have the old tripod set up and going for that excitement.
Yeah, so it's very close to getting wrapped up right now. I'm really excited with it. It's going to be something fun, I think. So.
Okay, you froze up here for some reason. Your audio's still good, but
you're froze.
Am I?
No, your video is frozen.
Oh, all right. Well, I might jump out and jump back in.
Okay.
It's frozen on my side, so I don't know.
Well, while you're doing that, we'll let Paul tell us about his exciting week.
Hey, this has been an exciting week. Like I said last week, my bamboo 3D printer bit the dust, so I went and got another one. I was happier than could be. Put it together, got it all hooked up. It didn't work. It was bad out of the box. So I took it back to Micro Center, and they fixed me up with another brand new one. And this one works amazingly. I printed this little bracket for the birdhouse that I built.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Uh-huh.
And so everything is happy in the Corliss household.
Okay.
I'm not grouchy anymore. My wife said I was getting kind of grouchy, and she was probably right. But I'm not grouchy anymore. I'm a happy person.
Yeah. So it's working. This one, your replacement
of the replacement works great.
Is now working as good as the first one did originally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
that's wild. I've never heard of somebody having problems like what you were having with that, and then
I never had either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But hey, it works good.
Well, good deal. I don't have a whole lot exciting stuff. I was telling Paul earlier, we've been having in my area, just south of Atlanta, we've been having some bad thunderstorms stuff. Well, not just thunderstorms, but more the tornadoes. And Monday morning, my dog Jack and I spent about 30, 45 minutes in the hall bathroom, barricaded in there with my phone, watching the little Fox 5 weather app.
Wow.
And you know how they do the little boxes, you know, and the way they did that box, I'm like, man, I'm right in the bullseye for this thing. So, but fortunately, fortunately for me, probably not so much for some other folks, but it stayed uh, probably a couple of miles south of me, which that's still too close when you're talking tornadoes. But dodged a bullet on another one. That's the second one I think this spring we've had, and of course now there's some more severe weather forecasted for tomorrow. But from what I can see of the weather maps, at least initially, it looks like it's going to be well north of me. So I hope it stays up there.
Good
But,
deal.
but yeah, that's and you'd have to see what my place looks like to know why I'm so concerned, because I have tons of really big oak trees. A few pine trees, but mostly big oak trees, uh, and they are big. So, yeah,
Hmm.
always dread when the wind kicks up and they start talking about the T word. I don't like that, but anyway, we'll get started talking about stuff tonight. Last week we were talking about control software. You know, uh, I'm a long time Mach 3 user and have been for many, many years. And, did the polls in the Facebook groups, and looks like Mach 3 is real popular, at least among the uh, Gatton CNC and GarageWorks CNC hobby users. It was probably the most popular. And anyway, we also talked a little bit about the Masso controller. I've got one. Let's see. You see it sitting right back here. I've got it hooked up to this bigger monitor here. Been playing around with it a little bit. Well, mine is not one of the newer ones. That's an old one. It's a G2, or what they call second generation uh, Masso controller. Uh, and anyway, right after last week's stream, last Wednesday, I think a day or two after that, it seems like the people at Masso lost momentarily because they sent all the Masso owners, and not just, they're pretty much standard equipment now on the new Onefinity Elite, but also, just anybody that has a Masso, they send an email out and was talking about going to be a lot of changes, and if you bought a Masso now, you would have to go with their subscription plan. And one of the things that always irritates me when people talk about subscription plans, they kept saying $19 a month, but it wasn't $19 a month. It was billed annually. So
Yeah.
really $228 a year. So just call it what it is. It's, that's what it is. It's not where you can pay $19 a month, or at least what they were originally thinking. But so anyway, a lot of drama in the Onefinity Facebook group, a little bit of drama in the PWN Facebook group. Excuse me, because I think I'm not sure if they've fully dove in, but I think PWN is going to start using the Masso with their machines too.
I think so. With the Dominator machine, I think they were
Yeah.
planning on it. Yeah.
So anyway, lots of drama in both of those Facebook groups, particularly the Onefinity group. People really like, well, I had one of the old Buildbotics controllers, and I was going to get the Masso G3 Touch, and now I'm not going to, and just like I said, a lot of drama both ways, against and for it, really. But I guess they were loud enough and vocal enough that Jat over at Masso, which, by the way, if you want to see how he got started, go look on my YouTube channel and go back about 8 years, because I had him back then. I think my show I was doing was called CNC with Dave, and he was on a couple of times, and the second time he did a demonstration of, back then, was the second generation Masso, which is what I have. Because like I said, he sponsored the giveaway, and we gave one away, and I can't remember who won it. I saw the other day, and then I thought, well, I need to remember who that was. But anyway, he gave one away, and then at the same time, he sent me one. That's how I ended up with that second generation Masso controller. But anyway, I guess Jat decided, after all the hubbub about the new policies, that they backed off of that a lot, and pretty much. And the other thing that I think was really ticking people off is that you had to pay the subscription, and again, they kept calling it the $19 a month, but it was really, you pay it $228, and you're good for a year, and then you pay another whatever it might be then. But they were talking about, you had to do that to get the updates for fixes, to fix bugs and stuff. And I thought, I wasn't even really using a Masso. I have one, but I'm not using it every day like those guys. And even that kind of smelled fishy to me. I'm like, man, if you put out a firmware update and then it's got some bugs in it, the fixes ought to be free. There ought not be nothing charged for to fix your mistakes. But anyway, I guess it turned out all good. Like I said, and since then, I had, I hadn't been on the Masso website in years, but I had gone on there to get some more information about this G2 that I've been playing around with. And I wanted to make sure. I knew they didn't have it, they don't sell that one anymore, but I wanted to make sure that I had the latest, greatest available update that I would get. So I went back on there, and I had my email that I'd used for registration was an old email, and I wasn't using that anymore. So I kind of had to sign up all over again, which was kind of a pain. But I finally got all that straightened out, and I went and clicked to get it. How everybody does. They have what they call support tickets. So. So I set up a support ticket, and the question that I asked is, I just said, hey, I've got an old second generation Masso. Here's the serial number. What is the latest firmware, and how do I get it? And I wanted to know if it would work with a touchscreen monitor, because as I have mentioned recently, I have really come to like using touchscreen monitors. But anyway, so I sent that off, and I was kind of surprised because I got a fairly prompt response back, and it was from my old buddy, Peter Pasqualo from the CNC Nuts YouTube channel. Now he lives, I guess he still does. He's a New Zealander.
Yeah.
And he has done a lot of videos and stuff. Well, I guess he's part of their support team now. So it was kind of funny because I got the email back, and it says, "Hi, Dave. Good to hear from you again." And I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting to hear from him. But anyway, he told me that the latest firmware update was 3.51 for the second generation Masso, and that I could get it by going, he tells me how to go online and go to the, I think it's called My Workshop and all that. And, and he said, he told me how to get to it and download that. So I tried that and I could not get in for anything. So I had to email him back a second time. And he came back and he goes, "Oh, well, your email was initially registered as Dave Gatton at garageworks.com. Well, I don't have that email anymore. So I had to email him again, and he went ahead and sent me in an attachment the latest update again for the second generation. And then he said he would get with some of the other tech support people, and they would get the email swapped out. So anyway, that all got worked out, and I've now got on there and I'm able to get back into to all that things. So I've uploaded the and I got kind of excited because Peter told me that I guess since they were doing away with the Generation 2, they went ahead and on the latest firmware update, it now has the Wi-Fi, although I think you have to buy a separate little thing to plug into it to make the Wi-Fi work on the Gen 2. And then he said it would work with touchscreens, although not every touchscreen. There was a catch. He kind of sent me a list of ones that it will work with, that they've tested it with, and then some that I guess they've tested it with and they know it doesn't work. So anyway, I was happy to hear that because I thought, well, maybe it'll work with the one I got. And then they were also turning on, because the controller is actually a 5-axis controller. It has X, Y, Z, A, and B. But when I got mine, it was just had X, Y, and Z turned on. So it was only a 3-axis controller. So anyway, when I got that email from Peter, I thought, well, man, I can't wait to get this update. Not just to get access to the other 2 axes that are on there, but also to test it with the that little touchscreen monitor that I've got back there. Well, as it turns out, like I said, when I looked through the list of touchscreen monitors, all the ones that were on his list that say they have tested and worked, I swear I've never heard of them before. It must all be ones that are sold in Australia or New Zealand and on that side of the world or something. But then when I looked at the ones that they said didn't work, of course, Asus, which is one that I have, that was on the list. But it wasn't the exact model number. It was the model number was off one. And I thought, well, maybe I still got a chance of it working. But I have since tested it, and it doesn't work. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. But I have been watching.
That's so weird. Like I don't understand what would, like, if it, you would think that a touchscreen is a touchscreen, and
Yeah,
I
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I wouldn't have ever thought that it wouldn't work on something.
Well,
You learn something new every day. I wonder
yeah.
what it is. Like it must be the chip or something that is doing the touchscreen.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. All I know is with screens, you plug them in, they're supposed to work. That's all.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know. But anyway, like I said, it was a disappointment to learn that screen wasn't going to work, because I was really thinking about using the Masso with this screen. And when it didn't work, I thought, well, it's not the end of the world. I still like that smaller size screen because it's big enough without being like that one right back there behind me. That's, I don't even know what size that one is. It's a 24.
24.
Yeah, that's a 24, and that one's like 15.6. Uh, but yeah, I thought, well, you know, it'd be nice to have a touchscreen that worked with it. But even if it don't, uh, you know, I've got like 3 of these things. In fact, these are probably listed in my Amazon affiliate links down below. But this is a Logitech K400. They're not real big, and they've got the built-in mouse pad that you can do your fingers with there. So yeah, you got the same thing right here. I've got 3 of these things. I've
I got
got
a problem with mine though. I got it out to start using it, and I don't have the USB tab thing to go with it, so
oh
it's
you must
worthless
have
to
left
me.
it in the back of a computer. So well, that's the thing.
I've
I've
never
got
used
3
I've
of
never
them. So you
used it.
got to make sure. I don't think they all work on just any one. I don't know whether they're all assigned. But see, I've got this one, and I've got the little what would you call it? The little USB thing plugged in here. But then I've also got one down here, exact same one, and it's got the USB thing plugged into that old Dell that I'm using for this. I found that if I'm just using Mach 3, I'm totally fine with using nothing but the keyboard. Or I mean, not the keyboard, the monitor, the touchscreen, and this keyboard, which y'all can't see it. But when I push that, it makes the keyboard pop up. But I'm going to tell you right now, Vectric VCarve Pro is not fun to try to work using just a touchscreen monitor. In fact,
No.
it's damn
Oh,
near
it'd be awesome.
impossible. You really need a mouse or at least the thing where you can wiggle your finger to move the mouse. There's just too many things you try to do in Vectric VCarve. It's not made for touchscreens
Yep.
at all.
That keyboard you were showing is funny. I use the same one on my smart TV.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they would work for that.
Oh yeah, it works great.
But anyway, you know, I've been talking about how, I mean, you saw probably the photo I posted on Facebook the other day of all the stuff I found. You know, I got drivers and power supplies out the gazoo, and you know, stepper motors. I had 5 of them up here, I think, last week, and I've since found 4 more. So and I know there's a whole bunch more out there in the shop that I didn't bother dragging around. But I've been wanting to go ahead and start working on my controller box and start laying it out and all that. But I've been kind of going back and forth because, well, if I'm going to use my touchscreen monitor and stick with Mach 3, then that means the controller is going to be built different. It will probably be, I mean, it's kind of the same. You're still going to have power supplies and some DM542T drivers and, you know, stuff like that. But you won't have the same kind of breakout board. You know, I won't be using a UC100 if I go with a Masso. So I've been going back and forth. I'm like, okay, well, do I want to use this Masso or not? And I've about decided now that even though the current touchscreen monitor that I have does not work with it, I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. And there's a couple of reasons why, and I'll show you one big one here in a little while. But you know, the thing about it is, I'm using that old Dell computer. And y'all have heard me talk about how long it takes for that thing to boot up,
Yeah.
go through all the stuff. But, you know, and it's got like Windows 10 or 11 on it. So it's, you know, it's fairly up to date as far as software, but it's lagging behind in the hardware department. But it just takes so long to get stuff up. And these things are just so fast because, you know, again, you don't have to use a computer, that little green box, that's the whole stuff. So when it gets power, it's within just seconds, it's already booted up. So I think, at least today, I changed my mind a lot, but I think I have decided to go ahead and build a controller. I'll build a box that will house the drivers and the power supplies and stuff like that, and it will still go underneath the table, just like the current controller I have, that G3 CNC, is over here. But the big difference will be I won't have a computer under the table anymore, but I'll use the second generation Masso, and I'll probably build myself some kind of a, like, I don't know, you guys can't see. Let me turn my camera a little. Yeah, there you can see a little better, because now you can see this here. So I've got this on this arm, and I really love this arm. I love the touchscreen, but I think what I'm going to do is build a little narrow box that will house this touchscreen monitor, although I might as well quit calling it a touchscreen because it's not going to work as a touchscreen with the Masso. And then the Masso, yeah, you can see it's less than 3 inches thick. And that's, I got it mounted on a piece of den rail right here. So the one I mount here would be, a real shallow enclosure. And then, of course, I can even mount this where it's either above, or maybe raise it up and have it below, or whatever. I just don't want to have a little shelf like this. I want it right in the thing, just like it would be a push button type thing. So I think that's the route I'm going to go. And while I've got my camera turned,
with the Masso, can you do vertical on it too? Like, can you like with the new one, everybody runs it in a portrait orientation.
Oh, you mean do a portrait instead of landscape?
Yeah.
I played around with this, and I can get this to go to portrait like you can any monitor if you're running Windows, because that's where you go in Windows and you tell it to run portrait instead of here. But when I connect it to the Masso, I don't see any way just on the monitor to tell it to rotate 90. I'd like to do it that way, but if I can't figure it out with this monitor, I'll do it, just leave it this way. And again, either mount this, and I say mount, it'll be captured inside the bezel of the box. So it'll either be on top or down below, which still isn't going to make it, super big. But I do want to keep it where I can mount that box onto this mount, and also have it where you can tilt it, which I pretty much leave it at this angle, because when I'm standing here, I'm looking straight at it, so I don't get any good, any glare or anything. So, but while I got this right here, we're gonna do a little.
There's Peter.
Yeah, there's Peter. He's got a ton of videos. He started like a separate YouTube channel, because he started out doing a few videos for Masso, and then I guess when they hired him officially or whatever, he created it's called CNC Nuts, the Masso edition. So he's got a separate YouTube channel, and that's where he does all the stuff for the Masso controller. But while I've got the camera pointed here where y'all can see both of these monitors, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the number one reason probably why I want to use the Masso controller versus the Windows. So I'm going to shut this one down now, and I'm going to come over here and unplug this one. So we got them both off now. Now, Ryan, if you would, can you set a timer on your phone and I'll tell you when to hit go?
Yes, sir. Ready when you are.
Okay. Ready? Go. I'm starting with the old Dell first. And I'll tell you when to stop when I get not just the computer booted up, but when it's gone through far enough that I've got Mach 3 back open and I'm ready to start doing something with the CNC. Okay, so it comes up here. Still welcoming me.
Well, you could go in for another cup of coffee in the morning, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, now it looks like it's done booting up, but I have a couple of little errors that I always have to wait to pop up because for some reason it doesn't like the classic shell. There it goes. So there's the first one, and then you hit OK, and then it does this. There's the second one. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, now I get Mach 3 loader going here. Come on, baby.
Hey, Jerry.
Okay, there's the splash screen. Okay, now it's coming up asking me about the motion controller. Okay, stop. Where are we at?
Minute and 59 seconds.
How much?
159.
159. Okay, so we'll just call it 2 minutes to boot up. Okay, now can you reset that timer and
Yep.
hit go when I tell you?
Yep.
All right. On your mark, get set, go. All right, stop.
18 seconds.
Yeah. Now, that's probably slow for the current G3 Masso controller standards. But as you can see,
They say like 10 to 15 seconds, I think, is what I've heard.
Yeah. So that's one really big reason, because I get so tired of having to start the computer. And you got to remember, I hadn't even turned the controller on. So if I was ready to run, I still got to walk over there and turn the controller on, which I would still have to do unless I had them wired where when I turn the controller for this on, it would boot this up all at the same time, which is probably the way I would do it. But yeah, so 2 minutes compared to probably 15 seconds. So like I said, no doubt this is slower because this old second generation Masso is roughly 8 years old. Jat sent me that in
Yeah. Yeah, it's
2008.
8 years. It was CNC with Dave number 44 was the Masso demo. And CNC with Dave number 45 is the one where you did the Masso giveaway.
Okay, yeah. So you're talking a good eight.
Yeah, it said 8 years ago.
And but I have watched, because I tell you what, I have watched a ton of videos. So I better move my camera back down a little bit, I guess. I've had my head cut off. Well, It's still high. Ugh. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, I have watched a ton of videos with the newest G3 touch, Masso touch or whatever, however they say it, Masso G3 touch. And of course, when you watch a lot of YouTube videos where people are using that, 99 times out of 100, it's somebody that's got a Onefinity because that's the big
The
thing now.
biggest reseller, yeah.
But I'm not necessarily interested at all in a Onefinity, but I do love that G3 touch. So
can you buy just the G3 or do you have to get the whole touch thingy?
you can you can buy just the G3, which would look just like that.
Yeah.
Only it's the newer one, and that's $890 for that. If you get the G3 Touch, which is the little enclosure thing, you can buy that without getting a Onefinity, and that's $1,390. So it's basically $500 more for the touch screen, and it comes with the touch screen, and then it's got I think a green and a red button that you can use for cycle start and e-stop built into that little enclosure. Or no, it has an e-stop, but it still has a couple of buttons there that you can program for some different things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've watched that thing. Like I said, I've watched a ton of videos, and I want to give a shout out to. He's probably not watching. I don't know if he watches a stream or not, but I'll give him a shout out anyway. And it is a fella by the name of, his YouTube channel is Mitchell's Woodwork LLC. And he's a Kansas City Chief fan, but I'm not going to hold that against him. It's just one of those unfortunate things.
Yeah.
But he does some great videos. He's very down to earth, and does a great job explaining whatever he's talking about, and will even fess up and show you when he makes a mistake. So yeah, it's that's a good channel. So I want to give him a shout out. I'm not sure what his name is. I think his first name's Marty, but I'm not sure. I think that's what it is. But anyway, I have watched a lot of his videos. I tell you, I kind of told Ryan the other day is I got really excited because he did a really in-depth video of the PWN auto tool changer, and you know how we've talked about those and how ridiculous they probably are for a hobby machine. But this guy's got one. He's got it set up. And I'm going to tell you what, when I watched, he purposely set up a job. It just did lots of it. He could have done it in a lot fewer tools, but he purposely put, I think, 19 tool changes just so you could really see how that thing worked. And I'm going to tell you what, that's a Mac Daddy right there.
Oh yeah, that's like the pro version of a tool changer. I mean,
yeah, it's got the spindle. It's got the air, the psh, and it grabs it, and oh man, so it's super fast. Because I was talking about last week how it don't take me that long to change a tool with collet wrenches, and it doesn't. But when it's just psh, and then psh, that fast to do it. So I got real excited about that thing. I thought, man, that's pretty cool. Wonder how much that thing is. and then I went and looked, and I talk myself out of that one.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
thinking, can
not
you
too
see me
difficult.
spending? I think it was like 37, almost $3,800. Can you see me spending that for for this machine? I'm like,
Nope.
no, that don't even make sense. So
You'd
uh,
have to get the Avid back.
yeah, 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 I'd be pretty slick on an Avid, I'm sure. But man, that was a
Yeah,
sweet outfit. So,
yeah, it's salty, that's for sure.
but one of the things I like, which is I guess the next best thing if you can't afford an automatic tool changer, and that's setting up a tool setter. And this guy that I'm talking about, Mitchell's Woodworks LLC, he's also got some good videos showing how he installs a tool setter. He bought it from somebody that sells them off of Etsy. But so you're still doing the manual tool change, but it's like, you're spending 30 seconds maybe taking the old one out and putting the new one in. And then you just hit the button and it does all the rest automatically. It comes down and, checks that bit, takes off, goes and do it, comes right back to that spot. So, and of course, all that's done with the G3 Masso Touch. So anyway, I have been, I've got to turn that heat off. I had it on because winters decided to come back here in Georgia for some reason. Let me cut this heat off. The thing now is where I've got my little live streaming spot right here. The heat is right there, and it blows right here. So, uh, but no, that that guy I've been watching has really got me sold on a lot of the stuff. So I think what I'm going to do, if I haven't already said, is I've already got that second generation Masso. Yes, it won't do a few of the things the new shiny one will do, but I think I'm going to go ahead and convert this machine over to that. And again, I'm going to build a whole. I might end up selling this G3 CNC controller in case anybody's wanting it. And when I swap all this out, I'm going to take these stepper motors uh, are the ones that came with that one, and they've all got the nice little airline connectors on them and all. So I don't want to cut any of that stuff off and I don't want to solder any new ones on for the others. So I'll just use some of the existing stepper motors, probably the ones that I had on my Gatton CNC. I'll probably use 4 of those, and when I take all this apart to move that controller out, and if I do offer it up for sale, it'll be all original with the stepper motors and stuff. So
Does Stacy still sell those controllers?
no, Stacy give it up. He give it up. He makes. I don't know if you've ever seen this thing. I did a video on it. Of course, he sent me that one. That was part of the deal. You send me one and I'll road test it and do videos on it and stuff like that. So, and I think the main reason he got in on that was because of the Gatton CNCs. There was a
Yeah,
lot of people because once Silotex
yeah.
stopped, there was a void somebody needed to fill. So he started doing it, but I don't know who. And I don't want to talk bad about the guy. I know he's probably not watching because I don't think he's ever watched anything. He's not big on social media. He had a website, but it's like anything. You can't just create a business and create a website and then wait for people to stumble across your website. You got to be out there. he wasn't a social media person, no Instagram, no Facebook, none of that stuff. So I think when when I quit offering the Gatton CNC kits, that kind of made his stuff dried up because he was just getting kind of free stuff off of mine. People needed a controller, so I'd say, well, go see Stacy, and that's the way it went. So as far as I know his website's down. If you try to look up G3 CNC, I don't think you can find anything on there. I
Oh,
think.
no, it goes right to Masso.
Oh, yeah, because of the G3. Yeah, which I don't know if that might have hurt him a little bit too, because I told him when he called it G3 CNC, I go, well, there's a G3 Masso, so I don't know, but anyway, it's a good little controller. You've seen me run it and stuff, and I just don't like that Mach 3 board in it, that the way it is. So I'm going to be building a separate controller based off of working with this old second generation Masso. And then, of course, I've told y'all that I picked up that other old Sidewinder. Like I needed another CNC, but I picked up that other one that Melinda was trying to get rid of since she bought my Avid. So I've got it stacked up over here in pieces. And the plan is I've still got y'all can't see it obviously, but my dust collection hose comes down, and there's a joint right there with a blast gate. And then it goes right to about the center of the garage. And then there's a Y with another little 90 coming down and another blast gate. And that's where I had my Gatton CNC. And right where that is now is my OhmTech laser. So I was thinking, I thought, well, if I build that other Sidewinder and put it over there, I'm kind of screwed because I can't put anything that close to the garage door, because when the garage door comes up and goes over it, the dust collection thing is too far out of whack. So I think what I'm going to do, and of course I've got my OhmTech laser jacked up a foot and got it up on blocks, so you don't have to bend over to get into it. So I'm going to have to take all that back, lower it back down, roll it over about
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Dave just froze.
Yeah.
You like what I did, Paul? He completely froze. Look, Dave's doing the mannequin challenge.
Yeah, Dave
he
turned off his heat and froze.
He did. He did turn it off. That's funny. Oh, we got Mr. Sean out there. Oh, there he goes. He fell off. He'll be back in a second. So, yeah, that stuff with the Masso last week was crazy. Huh?
I said, you might as well put that crawler on the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to join the Facebook group for the upcoming Ranger CNC, it's facebook.com/group/Ranger CNC.
I think I joined it.
Yeah, you did. I actually have a teaser picture that I'm going to be putting up there here pretty soon, because I've
oh, really?
Yeah, just to show a little bit more of the progress that we've got going on. But I'll do that probably shortly after the show's over. It'll show a nice chunk of the machine.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're very close on it. So I'm pretty happy. Definitely pretty happy. I wonder if Dave knows though too. I don't know. It probably wouldn't help that god awful Windows machine that he has, because it's older than dirt. It said Windows 97. Who's going that far into the future? But you can actually set the machine like if you're using a PC for just for your CNC stuff, you can set it up to like auto boot to a program. So that would
Oh,
be
can you?
oh yeah. It's pretty
Just
easy
turns
to
on and goes right to the
yeah
Masso program.
yeah, it boots up and then it just goes right into whatever it needs to, whatever you're telling it to.
I was going to say he'd be better off with one of the like a $200 computer like you're putting in your Ranger
Oh yeah,
CNC.
$200. You could have two of them for that.
Yeah, because it'll do everything you need to do.
Oh yeah. And I'm going to be running. At the moment, we're going to be running G Sender on the machine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's Mr. Dave.
There he is.
Okay,
there he is.
were y'all able to carry on?
Oh yeah, we've been carrying on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently, my internet just took a hit. I mean, and I don't mean just buffering. It was gone.
Yeah. You were turned sideways and just froze, and then Paul made a joke about how you had just turned off the heat, now you're frozen.
Oh yeah. I don't know what that was about, because I kept thinking, well, did somebody, car hit a pole or something? What happened? Because even when I thought, well, let me just shut it down, come back. When I went to come back, it's like, now you don't have any internet. I'm like, and I even go to the extra step of I turn my office computer off. I make sure I turn anything that's using bandwidth off, other than this out here. So
yeah.
Anyway, so I apologize for that. I'm sure Ryan and Paul were handling everything just fine. I was afraid it was that it was Evie Mux and all of us was messing up, but I guess the show was able to keep going with you. But anyway, what I was about to say, I'm kind of going to use this second generation Masso as kind of a test for me to get familiar with, because the Masso is quite a bit different than Mach 3. I can tell you that. So I'm going to be using that old one, because from all the videos I've watched of the newer G3 and the G3 Touch, other than it being on a touchscreen, a lot of things look the same. It's just this one's turned sideways and not 90 like that. But so
yeah, Peter should hook you up.
So, well, I may, that had never stopped me. If I want something, I get it. To my detriment a lot of times. But yeah. So I'm thinking, see, before I kept thinking, well, I hate to spend $890, but I could get just the G3. But see, now I'm afraid I'd spend that and then have trouble getting a monitor that works with it, with a touchscreen. So I thought, what's another $500? Just buy the whole thing. But I'm not going to do that right away. I want to get the controller built, because I'll end up having to build two controllers now. One for this one with the G2, and then another one for the other Sidewinder that'll go right there with the whatever new stuff I buy. So anyway, all right. If I missed any comments, we haven't really looked at those at all. I did see Jerry's in the house. How you doing, Jerry? Good to see you out there. He's had some good videos out lately on
the big old Jinmitsu.
The ginormous Jinmitsu thing he's got now. So, well, I'm not sure. What Ryan's going to be making and what I'm going to be making. It's going to be close enough to the same thing. I haven't got all the details on that new controller.
On the new controller, it's it's a Gerbil based one. going to be running the mini PC in there with the Arduino Uno.
Okay.
And, at the moment, I'm going to be suggesting to use G-Sender because it's such a good Gerbil one, but there might be something else in the
Yeah.
pipeline.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, don't give away everything right off the bat here.
No, but you did see that you were talking about you have to promote yourself and blah blah blah. So I'd put a crawler at the bottom.
I saw it. Well, it's I told you this a long time ago. I think that in the early days when there you go. In the early days of, or I should say, earlier days of YouTube, uh,
Atmosphere.
the the big thing back then was everybody swapped stickers,
Yeah.
or you would buy their merch and they're gonna buy your merch, and everybody get T-shirts and hats and all that stuff. Well, as I told you a while back, one of the things I found out pretty early on, because I thought it was cool to go help other channels out and buy their merch and stuff,
Yeah.
and then you'd wear their merch while you're doing a video. And then I started noticing that all the channels that were really getting big, the only merch you saw them wear was their own.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I kind of thought, oh, I get it now. You promote your stuff, and want everybody else to buy your stuff, but you also are just going to wear your stuff everywhere you go. So that's kind of how that works. So yeah, promote yourself. Branding is everything.
He's a tester for his controller.
He's a tester for his controller. I do have. I know I hadn't even talked about this, I don't think, but I've already talked about my plans to build that second Sidewinder right here once I move that home tech down. But I do have one more thing that I want to build before I kick, and I don't think I'm going to kick anytime soon, but I don't want to put it off too long either.
Yeah.
So because stuff does happen. So, but there is one more thing, but it's not. It ain't anything too terribly exciting, but y'all have to wait a while to get to that one.
It's not a teardrop camper.
No, that
I can hit back too.
I know. That hurt. Well, if you want to get on me for unfinished projects, there's about 1,000.
Oh yeah. I'm right there.
I
am right there, buddy.
There's plenty of them to pick. So, all right. Well, I'm not even going to mention the scoreboard then.
No, there's no need to.
We won't even talk about that.
Nope.
Or the electric car.
Yeah. Or the forklift.
Or the forklift. Yeah.
Or the one project that's in the background here that I never reference.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Don't talk about them.
Yeah.
These days, but
yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Like I said, did I miss any questions?
No, I don't think so.
What is Clyde talking about here? He says, I'm thinking of going to Fluid NC from Arduino Uno. What is that, Clyde?
So Fluid NC is like it's like the newest, a new fork of Gerbil. And so Fluid NC, I was actually looking at it for the Ranger CNC machine as the controller. And it's a different microprocessor that you use on it, with that you can run Fluid. So it's just a newer version, really, kind of.
Well, it seems like I've seen that mentioned, but I didn't know what it was, and I hadn't.
Yeah.
I hadn't took a dive in to see what Fluid CNC is. Yeah, but I have.
There's Fluid, then there's also Gerbil Howl.
And I've heard of that, Gerbil Howl.
Yeah, and there's a couple other ones that are out there too.
Okay. I'll have to look at that. Every once in a while I like to go to, either Google and or Amazon and just type in CNC controller and see what pops up. And there's so many things. In fact, I can when I think about it, I can kind of see why Masso had that brain fart and started talking about subscriptions and stuff like that is, because there are so many companies, not American companies, but Chinese companies that get a hold of the technology when somebody comes out with something cool. And the next thing you know, there's 4011 clones of it that, kind of like the way 3D printers went and the little CNCs and stuff think about in 3018, how many offshoots of that there were, it's like, it's ridiculous, but I have seen some, CNC controller things that look, they all, not all of them, but some of them look the same as others, but they're all different little companies selling on Amazon or eBay or something. But anyway, let's see. Kenneth says 8 years for any technology is impressive that it even works. The way things become obsolete. Yeah. It's I don't know if you've ever seen a Masso unit up close, Kenneth, but they're pretty slick. They're pretty slick little things. And again, 8 years old, and you saw what did we say, 15 seconds for it to boot up. So
yeah,
that's pretty impressive. But I think
banana for scale.
Yeah. Is that a 3D printed banana?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yep. My son's been printing out a bunch of fun stuff.
Yeah, there's Wade, I've seen lots of the little smaller Chinese made CNCs and stuff. And yeah, they come with Mach 3, and then you get to looking at it close, and it's like, ooh, I don't even want to stick that thumb drive in my good computer because it doesn't look right. There's a ton of pirated copies of that out there, I'm sure, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. All right, I'll scroll through the comments. I see Sean's out there. Sean, I hope you're feeling better. He's under the weather and didn't do his stream this morning. So, all right, I don't see. Hey, there's JR. How you doing, JR? Good to see you out there in the chat. Well, I guess we'll get off here. Like I said, I really had planned, after last week, I had planned on having a controller box with the, how I'm going to put all my stuff kind of on one flat plate that you can slide down in there and put on some stand-ups because it's easier to work on them instead of trying to get your hands down inside a box.
Yeah.
I had planned on having all that done where I'd have a pretty box. Ryan's got version 7 or so of pretty
7.43.
Yeah, something like that.
But I mean, his are pretty because they got the good logo on them and all that stuff. So I thought, well, I'll at least try to have a box to show y'all and show you how I'm going to lay it out. And like I said, I've been going back and forth. Do I want to do because if I was going to just build a regular controller where I'm going to use Mach 3, you kind of have to put more stuff in the box. Kind of, sort of, I think. So, but when you're doing it with the Masso, you want the Masso because I'll hold it up here. But here's the thumb drive. You got the keyboard dongle thing goes right here. Here's your monitor thing, and then this is the thumb drive where you would load your programs in, or at least I will, because I don't have the newer one yet. But so you need to be able to get to this. Now, I did buy one of those things where you can plug it into here, and then it's got a cable, and you can put it on the side of a box, like a little extension. So I'll be using that. So
Can you run a external the driver on those?
well, yes, you do run drivers. You talking about like a DM542?
Yeah, but I thought they were inside the Masso. They're
No. I heard you say that last Saturday, and I was thinking, nah, there's no drivers in there. You still got to have a control box with drivers or power supplies and stuff like that to go along with this. This is just the brains of the operation. Think of this as a huge
it's just a computer.
breakout board type that takes the place of a computer.
It's a computerless computer.
Yeah. But yeah, you still got, now I think in the case of the Onefinity Elites that have the G3 Masso Touch, if they're using that closed loop, from the videos I've seen, they keep saying that the drivers are on the stepper motor. But when they take it off, there's like a little cover, and I'm thinking, well, is that really the driver or is that the encoder? I'm not sure. But anyway, that's what I've seen them say on the videos. Well, I guess it is a driver, because I saw where when they were changing the resolution of the steps, they had to take that little cover off that's covering that up on the motor, and the dip switches were there. So maybe it is the drivers, but they're little tiny things for the closed loop. But yeah, with this, you have to have some kind of a driver. There's no drivers inside this thing. It's just basically a computer / breakout board type thing. So, all right. Well,
Cool.
I guess, go ahead.
Huh. I was good.
Okay. All right. Kenneth said he remembers when I had Jat on in the Masso during the show. That was a long time ago, man. You've been hanging around a long time, Ken. Apparently. Let's see what Wade says. It says you go right from the controller to the stepper, so it's on board driver. Okay. Okay, so Wade says he's got a machine with them. I guess he's talking about a Onefinity, but not the Masso. Okay.
That must be why I was thinking that they were on board with the Masso.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just not in that part. Yeah.
Which some, like the Buildbotics controller, that's how it is. Like the drivers are built into the board.
Oh yeah.
And like the little Gerbil machines, they all have them baked in.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, and they're little tiny things. So, all righty. Well, I don't see any more questions. I don't guess I missed anything.
Yeah.
I don't see anything I missed. We'll go ahead and get out of here, and hopefully I'll have. Who knows? I might have something running. By the time I see y'all next week.
Good deal.
So we will get ready to get out of here. Let me get the button ready. Oh, yeah, there it is. All right, so we will see y'all next week. Everybody have a great weekend. And be sure and check out Ryan's Making It Up As We Go that he's been plugging all night.
No, I was plugging the Ranger CNC.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, well, I guess you'll go hear more about the Ranger CNC on the Making It Up As We Go podcast this Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
You got it.
All right, so we'll see y'all guys. Everybody take care.
See ya.